Hello, welcome to maybe the last video in the lab. I don't know. There's a few things we have to do here. We'll see how it goes in terms of time. I mean, I've made an hour-long video before for lab. I'm just trying to make it into logical endpoints, so let's see where things go. So we need to do view portfolio. Now the other thing that's kind of becoming a problem, and maybe you realize this, maybe you haven't, is we don't have a reset portfolio button. So like this is only going to grow, which is fine. So I don't know, when should I do that? I don't know. I think there's a reasonable case to be made that maybe we should do that reset right now. So let's just do that because there's not going to be anything easier than that. So then I head over here. I'm going to go grab that index. Remember this just not much page? Well, I'm going to select all, copy, new, paste. So I'm just using that as a template. I don't need any of this business. I could have an H1 here say your cart is clear, or your cart has been cleared. So I'm telling the user that their cart's been cleared. Now the other thing I need to do is actually clear the cart. So that's session stuff. So session start, right? I need that anytime I want to do anything with sessions. And then I'm just going to say $_session cart equals array. That's how you empty a cart. Now, I can't really assume exactly that cart exists. I mean, you could go straight to this page if you bookmarked it or something. So let's create the session if we need to. So if not is set $_session cart then we'll create the cart. Same drill. Now, could you have copied this from the other page? Sure, it's the same exact thing. Maybe this belongs in some kind of require. I don't know. And then so I need to save this thing as actually before I save it, let's look at our nav bar. I don't know what it's called. It's called clear. So call it clear. Otherwise you're gonna have to go edit your nav bar, which you're welcome to do if you want to, but I don't want to. Alright, so start the session. If there's no session, create it and clear it. So whether it's clear or not, I don't care, right? And so let's see how this works. Now the reason this is good is just our stock cart has the potential to just get bloated. Now I go bro stock. You see it's empty. So let's stuff some things in there first. So right, that was actually kind of a step backwards because now here I am going and adding stuff. But it's not going to be very interesting to display the results if we don't have anything in there. You see what I know. I know a few things. Let's try. I don't know. I don't know. Fine. Google, Apple, IBM. Those are three things that I know. I don't actually know anything else. I'm tempted to try some things, but yeah, I know this is already going to be a long video, so not going to. So what we need to do is we need to build this view portfolio page, and so it's called cart. You can see, well, I can tell you it is because if you look at the nav bar, it's called cart. Cart doesn't exist, so that thing we just did with clear. Well, I'm gonna grab that index page again, select it all, copy it, new page, paste it, file save as, and I'm gonna call this cart.php, and this is where we're gonna display our cart and allow users to adjust the quantities in their cart. So I'm gonna get rid of all this nonsense because that is nonsense. And so now that's what we're gonna do is sit here and build this cart page. So the cart page is built on sessions. So let's, clear was over here. I'm going to do some time saver stuff, which I don't love doing, but you see this session start and initialize the cart. Well, that doesn't change at all. So there we go. So let's just initialize that cart if we need to. And then down in here, we're going to display the contents of that cart. So there's two phases to this, and that's why I say I don't know how this is going to go. But step 1 is we want to display the contents. Step 2 is we want to give people the ability to update those quantities. So we'll see. We got to start with displaying the cart, though. That's for sure. And all right, so you see how we got this scenario here where we got a closing PHP tag and an opening PHP tag? Well, that kind of makes me just want to do this whole thing in PHP, is what that makes me think. But you know, there's reasons why I might not want to do that. I mean, there's going to be an awful lot of echoes, so I don't know. I'm just pointing that out because I'm going to do it like this. Even though I'm questioning already whether I really want to do it like this. So I'll have like an H1. And in that H1, problems, I'll say, you know, cart, view cart or something. That seems about right, I guess. So I could have done that outside of here, or, you know, broken in and out of PHP, or I could just do it all in here. I just know what we're really going to do is we're going to get into a for each loop at some point here. So for each is a good tool for iterating over an array, and our session that we're looking at here certainly is an array, so this seems like a good tool. So what do you want to iterate over? Well, the thing I want to iterate over is called cart. I'm just going to steal that. You see, I'm starting to steal things because this is already going over an hour. You should probably be able to follow why I did what I did there at this point. That's my cart, the big thing. I don't know what's in it. It could be empty, right? That's a scenario. So I want to iterate over that, and I'll say as key val. So the keys are the ticker symbols, and the vals are the arrays inside with the actual properties. Yeah, I guess I'm going to need all those things. Now, I did some weird stuff. I mean, I could have done things differently. I'll just say that rather than try and explain, you know, what I did and didn't do. So that's going to be useful to us, and that's going to be useful to us. So we're going to iterate through this, through each row, and so each iteration through this cart thing is going to be an item that we want to display. So we're going to want to echo out a row. Now I'm going about things in kind of a strange way, but you know, this is all strange. I mean, I don't know what the right way to do anything is. And so there's going to be multiple TDs because we care about the price, the name, the quantity, and I don't know if you need to display the symbol or not. That's up to you. But my point is there's going to be 3 TDs in here. So I'm just kind of sitting here debating right now. Should I do this like on one line, you know, like I would normally do a table? Or should I press enter and break this across multiple lines? You see, this is hideous, and I don't like looking at it like that. The possibility for messing things up is so high. I'm just going to go in here and press line breaks between these various things, so it's easier to see what begins and ends where. Now, a nice trick is you put a new line character there just for debugging purposes. That's not going to print anything out, but when you go to view your source code, which could be a problem, that'll be insightful. And so, I guess we said we're going to do the name, the quantity, and the price. So here, the name, since I'm going to be indexing into an array, I'll do it like this. So I'll say val. And I think the field is called name, and I'll just leave the rest of it. I just put placeholders in there just to see how things work. Now, I actually don't know how this will work because there's not even table tags around it, which, you know, I don't usually do things like that, but I kind of wanted to get into the complicated part of this, but, you know, earlier than later, and probably a mistake, but only get to find out if it's a mistake if you tell me you don't like it, I guess. So let's go view that portfolio, and I have no idea what to expect. Oh, well, something. So, yeah, like I said, I don't know what a table is, what like rows are without a table, but I am seeing stuff here. It's just crazy looking, but that's stuff we can deal with. All right, so the problem here is that a problem is that our table lacks structure. So this is going to give us our rows, right? And so there might be 0 rows and there might be 150 rows. Now, outside of this loop, we're certainly going to need to do like the outside stuff, like the table tag. And there's only one of those. And I like to give it a border just because, I mean, I'm not saying that it looks good, but what I am saying is that it helps. It's easier to see. So my table opens there. My table closes here. That's going to help. I guess we can view it. I sure still need a heading row, so I'm not, in the impression that this is good, but hey, there you go. That is good. Better than, I mean, it's fine. I'll show you what those new lines were. If I go view the page source, you see how, like, the line break is that. Otherwise, this would all just be mashed together in one big thing. Actually, I'm not 100% sure on that because it didn't look like that all the way through, but that's the right idea. We're also going to need a heading row. There's more work to be done here. So I'll echo out. I know I should use like table headers and such, but I'm just doing this as quickly as I can, so that's not going to happen. So a row of headers, TD, closing TD, opening TD, closing TD, opening TD, closing TD. I know it's brutal to do that. So the first TD is a name. You can go company name, or I don't know. It's up to you. Whatever you want to display. And the next thing's going to be the price. And the next thing's going to be the quantity. So now we've got a roadmap for doing this. So I'm just going to copy. Well, I'm not. I was going to copy and paste that, but what's the point? So here, instead of y, I'm going to do curly braces and then val and then the index that I want. I think that's going to be called price. And here I will do val. That's going to be quan. I think it's called quan. It could be quantity or something. Right? It's something I made up. Let's go see what we got. And that is what viewing a cart looks like. Now, as always, there's a couple more things we have to do here. Well, there's 2 more sets of things I can think of that we need to do, and they'll certainly fit in this video. I just don't know if we'll get the update in here. So we're also going to need yet another set of TDs, and this is going to be our subtotal. Because, you have 10 shares of something, it'd be good to do a little math on that. And so subtotal is the kind of thing that you're going to calculate for each trip through the array, and it's not something I want to do inside of an echo. So I'll say sub equals, and I just got to pull some stuff here. So it's actually going to be val price times val quan. So both things that we're pulling from that cart. And then down here, I will spit out the sub. So sub is value, it's the price times the quantity. And I spit it here, and then for every row I do that. Now, the other part of this is there's going to be a grand total. So I'm going to say grand, declare it to be 0. So I declare it here, I assign it to be 0. And then right here, I will add on to it whatever the subtotal is. So, right, it starts off as 0, and then if I have $1,000 worth of Google, grand is 1,000. And so, right, grand is declared outside of this scope. I'll illustrate that a little more clearly there. So it's just going to grow as it gets more subs added onto it. And we don't have anything to do with grand yet, but that's our subtotal. That's part of this mission. Let's make sure it works. Maybe you don't like that column width. I don't really care about solving that. All right, those look like good subtotals. You might not like the way that they're formatted. If you want to make them look like a $sign, then put a $sign there like that. It's weird looking, right? It seems wrong, but it's a literal $sign. You're inside of an echo. Now, if you don't like the decimal places, you could format decimals. There's always functions for formatting decimals. I'm sure there's like a format currency function. I mean, if there's not in PHP, I would be shocked. I just normally format stuff on my own. We could fix those decimal places if we wanted to. is my point, and I don't want to. All right, so there's one kind of big thing that we have blown off to this point. You know that quantity? Well, it would be nice if people were allowed to update that quantity, right? I mean, you could just call this a checkout page, but you know, we should give them the ability to update that. So this right here is going to get more complicated, which means I'm going to smash it, rip it apart like that. So what we need to do is allow the user the ability to submit a different quantity. So that means we're going to need a form. Yes, each one of these is going to be a form. Like each row is going to have its own form. And forms need actions, and they need methods. Well, they actually default to things, but it'd be good to say it needs a method. And the action is going to be cart.php. Gosh, I'm getting laggy. You can see that. And I'm going to get rid of this thing that I have just hanging here because I think it's going to get me in trouble. All right, so there's going to be an... so I guess I should put a label on it. Well, it's kind of weird because I got a label here in the column heading. But I want to make it clear that the user can... Well, I don't know. I don't know if I need a label here. You tell me. Do it, don't do it. I guess I'm not going to do it, and we'll just see how it goes. Because I think we can rely on the column heading to serve as the label, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, do what you want to do. You could do a better job if you want. And I'm going to say the name of this is Quan, right? Like, why not be consistent? Now, when I say why not be consistent, I really mean why not be consistent with the way we did it on the buy page? Because the buy page actually does exactly what we're talking about here. And I'll do another input of type submit with a value called like update. So this is going to be what is displayed on the button. And let's just see what that looks like. It's not perfect. I know it's not. There's work that needs to be done, but let's see what we get. Oh my gosh, that looks absolutely terrible. That is because of the form CSS. Do I want to fix that? Not really. So I'm trying to think, what is that? What is that? So that's the form width, just looking ridiculous. So I guess we could give this form a class of update or something, and I'll just write a new rule for update. So this is going to be in the head of my page. Sorry, you can tell I didn't mean to do this. It's a class, so that's dot update, and I don't know, maybe if I just set the width to something smaller. I'm trying to see how, so do you see how these TDs are 125 wide? I don't know, let's try that. I'm always pretty nervous about setting the width of something inside of something to the maximum width of that thing, because it oftentimes doesn't turn out how you like. So let me save my cart, and let's see if just that class works. You know, yes, it does work. I think I'm getting some massive padding applied to that as well. Sorry, I'm going to pause it. I'm just going to write some CSS so you don't have to watch me improvise. Alright, so the first thing I did, I just set the margin to 0. That got me there. Now I've got this gigantic text box, and if you've been watching the weekly content to this point, you see I've been fighting with gigantic text boxes all week, just not caring about it. But at this point, it's actually something I have to deal with because it's actually it's wider than the TD itself. So I need to write a rule for that. So I'll write that, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so here's what I did. I created another rule, input with a class of update. I set it to width 3 EMs. I figured like an EM is kind of a font relative thing, so that'd give you 3 digits to mess with. I don't know. You're kind of capping it. I don't know. I guess my intention is that's going to be a 4-digit number. And then over in my cart, on the input, I gave it a class of update. And the result of that is something like that. So I guess we're good. Oh, so we're not good because the quantity should be displayed in here. So sorry, gosh, I can't tell you how much I hate going down a CSS adventure, but it's reality. Reality is, you start doing things and you realize that it didn't work quite the way you wanted it to. So the thing that we need to do now, oh, sorry, we do need to do more stuff, but I'm not doing it right here. For the quan, I want it to have a value, and that value is going to be in curly braces. It's going to be val, right? That as in the for each thing, and quan is what we called that field because we need to pre-populate that field with whatever the heck it was, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't know what you're even trying to update. So there are. So we're definitely not going to do the updating the quantity in this video, even though it wouldn't take much time to do. It's just getting a little long-winded, so I'll break this one off, and then in the grand finale, we'll update this, and we'll also deal with the situation of maybe having an empty cart, because that can be a byproduct of updating your quantities to 0. So we're almost there, folks. Thanks for your patience. I hope you're enjoying building this cart. It's a complicated project, but it's a good way to learn about building carts and working with APIs and the things that you really run into when you start building a kind of a complicated project. All right, so thanks for watching.